What is going on, guys, and welcome to another late NFL predictions video. Baltimore Ravens really out here messing with my life, man. But I don't really got much else to say about that, so let's just get right into it with the Kansas City Chiefs against the Miami Dolphins. For the Dolphins, we have a defense this season that is one of the best in the NFL. But the Chiefs, they've got the best offense in the league. It's not even that close. You really got to start. They're getting close to being one of the best offenses in NFL history, and I don't think we have the talent to be able to contain Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill. Sure, Xavier Howard, who's like the best cornerback in the NFL now, can cover one of those guys, but he can't cover them all. So I've got the Chiefs winning this one by a fairly big size margin. And then we have the Tennessee Titans and the Jaguars. Give credit to the Jaguars now. They fought hard against the Minnesota Vikings, but they ended up falling in OT. And now they have to play the Titans, who I think will win this game. They are far more talented than the Jaguars, who now fall to 1-12. And they will be rolling out Justin Fields next season, most likely. Now we have the Colts and the Raiders. The Raiders pulled off, quote unquote, pulled off a miracle win against the Jets. I don't know how much of that was the Jets just not playing bad football or something else involving Trevor Lawrence that I won't exactly get into. But I think that after nearly losing to the 0-12 team now, the Raiders will be highly motivated to come out and pull off a pretty big upset here against the Colts, which moves them into the playoffs over Indy. Now we move on to the Steelers and the Bills. There will be no undefeated season for Pittsburgh this year, but I'm sorry to say this to all the Steeler fans, but y'all kind of needed that loss to the Washington football team because the last couple of weeks, Pittsburgh has not been playing well. The offense has been horrible, especially in the red zone, and the supposedly vaunted defense isn't even playing that great. But now that they've gotten that loss, they'll be like, okay, we need to work. We need to get to work here because we don't want to lose another game and potentially, lose our momentum that we had early in the season. So I think that they'll come back strong and knock off the Bills here Sunday night, I believe. Yes, sir. And then the Ravens and the Browns. The Ravens did what they had to be able to still have the ability to control their own destiny playoffs-wise. And now they face the Browns. The Ravens' running game was looking really nice against the Cowboys. And I know it is the Cowboys' defense. But still, Gus Edwards had over 100 yards. Lamar almost hit that mark. And I think that they'll really start to hit a stride here late in the season. And that's going to start with a win here against the Cleveland Browns. I think that their defense is going to step up. Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Peters, and Jimmy Smith, all of those guys will be able to shut down the Browns' offense. Well, obviously, the passing game is not great. They lost Odell Beckham Jr. forever ago. And so that means their best receiver right now is Jarvis Landry, who isn't exactly what he used to be. So I think that the Ravens will get a win here on Monday night. And now we move on to the Patriots and the Rams. Man, the Patriots. Wow. That was pretty crazy. I think we all expected them to beat the Chargers, but 45-0 was the final score. That was ugly. We ain't even going to talk about the Chargers. But the thing that I'd like to point out is Cam Newton only threw for 69 yards despite that much of a blowout. He had 2 rushing touchdowns, but that's just what he does. And so if he's still not throwing the ball well in a 45-0 shutout, I don't have high hopes for beating the Rams, who are one of the best teams in the NFC. They might actually be second best behind the Saints. And another storyline here, this is a rematch of Super Bowl 53, when the Rams were basically a super team. They were amazing that year. And I think Sean McVay will be wanting to get revenge on Bill Belichick and his team after that poopy Super Bowl. That was not fun to watch. Texans and Bears. The Bears fell to the Detroit Lions. That was pretty bad. The Texans have been playing some pretty decent football here of late, and I think that they could actually pull off this win here against the Bears. Obviously, they're going to be massively depleted. Will Fuller is out for the rest of the season, the regular season. He'll be back for like the playoffs, should they make the playoffs, may I add. I don't think they will, but I think that they'll pull off a win against the Bears here. The Bears, their offense, they just can't do anything. David Montgomery has been having a good past couple of games. The Falcons have some run stoppers. They got Zach Cunningham, who's leading the league in tackles. Obviously, there's J.J. Watt. That's all they really need to stop a one-dimensional offense like that. And now we move on to the Cowboys and the Bengals. Cowboys, that was a rough game for them last night. They lost like 34-13. But I think that in Andy Dalton's return to Cincinnati that the Cowboys will get this win. The Bengals are back to being the Bungles. We knew they're probably not going to be winning another game without Joe Burrow, and that's just sad because I feel bad for the kid. The Cowboys, even though they're horrible this season, they do have more talent on their team, and I believe that Ezekiel Elliott will lead this team to a win. I think I said that a lot, and he hasn't exactly delivered. Ezekiel Elliott has not been good this season, but the Bengals, they're much more of a pass defense team. I think he'll get it done because, I mean, they have Jesse Bates, who's like the best safety. So the Cowboys will be relying more on their run game, and I think it'll get them the dub. So now we have the Denver Broncos and the Carolina Panthers, who continue to fall. They were on a bye last week after that loss to Minnesota. So I think that they'll come out of their bye with a win. They haven't been playing good football ever since they started the season off pretty well. So I think that Matt Rule is going to regrouped his team during the off week. And I think that they will get a statement win against the Broncos. Not exactly a statement win, but you know what I'm talking about. The Jets and the Seahawks, as the Seahawks look to not complete the opposite of the New York Gauntlet. They lost to the Giants last week, which is surprising to some people, but I wasn't caught off guard too much. I was actually considering picking the Giants in that game because they've got a better defense. James Bradbury is one of the NFL's best cornerbacks this season. But come on, man. It is the New York frickin' Jets. I don't even want to talk about what happened last week. Falcons, Chargers. Okay. The Chargers, that was really just not good at all. Justin Herbert had his first bad game of the season, tossing 2 interceptions without a touchdown. I think that the Falcons will continue the Chargers' misery. Specifically, I think they're just an all-around better football team. Defensively, they got guys like Grady Jarrett, who isn't playing as well as he did last year. Obviously, they got Deion Jones in there. They got that Olamide guy whose name I can't pronounce. I don't even know if that's his name. But you might know who I'm talking about by my attempts to pronounce the name. Anyway, Falcons get the win there, 5-8. Vikings and Buccaneers. The Vikings, they've been rolling lately. They are, as you can see right now, in the playoffs. But the Buccaneers, ever since they were playing some really good football, they've sort of started to fall off a bit too. But I feel like when you've got a team that's, sort of more of a run the ball offense. I mean, Kirk Cousins has had some pretty good games here recently, but I think that they'll be limited to the passing game only because, they have an outstanding run defense. And even though it's Dalvin Cook, I don't know if even he can deal with that run defense of Tampa Bay. And they've got guys like Carlton Davis. Devin White can play pass coverage. I think that they'll do what they need to do to shut down Justin Jefferson and the Vikings receiving corps and get themselves a win. The Cardinals and the Giants. So, this is just a tale of two, momentum swings or whatever the hell. The Cardinals have been cooling off after a hot start, especially Kyler Murray. And the Giants, after starting like 0-4, 0-5, Joe Judge has stabilized this team. Now they're 5-7 with the lead in the NFC East. But I think that even though the Giants have a good defense and Kyler Murray hasn't been playing well of late, I think the Cardinals' defense will shut down the Giants. Oh, we don't know if Daniel Jones is coming back. And the Cardinals' defense has been pretty decent despite losing Chandler Jones for the season, and I think that they will get this win. The Green Bay Packers against the Detroit Lions. That's an easy Packers victory for me. I mean, that team is just loaded, and the Lions don't have nearly enough firepower to combat it. Okay, now we have the Washington football team and the San Francisco 49ers. Washington, what a win for them last week. And I think that, obviously, after you beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, the morale of your team is at an all-time high. A season high, you know what I'm saying? I think that they'll come out and get a win, move to 6-7 to solidify their new hold on the NFC East. That defense is really good. They got Chase Young, Kendall Fuller, Montez Sweat, Matthew Ioannidis. I can keep going on and on. That is a very good defensive team. I feel like people are sometimes sleeping on that. And the Niners' offense, that's just depleted. They did get Raheem Mostert back, but they're without Jimmy Garoppolo and George Kittle, and as a result, they're just a completely different team, and that's not for the better. Finally, we got the Saints and the Eagles. This will be Jalen Hurts' full first start, and while I do think he has a chance to put up some decent numbers, a rookie QB who's getting his first start in Week 14 isn't exactly going to beat the best team in the conference. So, there you have it. Those are my predictions for Week 14. Steelers and Chiefs tied at 12-1 for the number 1 seed in the AFC. Tiebreaker gives it to the Steelers. Then we have the Titans, Bills, and Browns all at 9-4. Then we got the Raiders and the Dolphins at 6-7, with the Ravens and Colts at the exact same record. And then there's the Patriots, who are still trying to cheese their way in. NFC, Saints, the best team, and the one that's likely going to the Super Bowl, 11-2, best record. They're still rolling. And we got the Packers and the Rams. Don't sleep on them either. Football team at 4. The Seahawks stop a further collapse and stabilize at 9-4 as well. Then we have the Bucks at 8-5, and the Cardinals getting past the Vikings at 7-6. So, hopefully you enjoyed this predictions video. You can feel free to comment on any of my picks. See if y'all disagree. Love to start a little debate with my comments section. And yeah, without further ado, I think it's time to end this video. I'll see you next time.